This has massive implications for the Boston Celtics, as new reports suggest the Celtics could be losing another assistant head coach in back-to-back seasons, and we're going to get into that. Plus, we look at the newly acquired veteran wing, Torrey Craig, as he stepped up and delivered for the Boston Celtics when they needed him most in Joe Mazzulla's offense, and we're going to break down how he can fit in with this team. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone that came through to the stream yesterday before the San Antonio Spurs game. The Celtics were able to get that victory like we predicted and are heading into the All-Star break with a good note on a nice little win streak here, which is just great to see following that loss to the Dallas Mavericks. But like I said, let's get into the video at hand. If you guys are not subscribed, part of the 72%, if you want to stay up to date on everything, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned with those weekly live streams. Without further ado, though, let's get into the video at hand, as this would change everything for the Boston Celtics. As like I said in the introduction, we're seeing a new report suggesting that the Celtics could lose once again another assistant head coach. And the Celtics have been through this carousel not just last year, but through the previous seasons, losing multiple assistant coaches and head coaches due to the fact that they have a pretty good coaching staff in here in Boston, being able to coach some of these guys. But if we want to look at this report from Sports Illustrated, we can see from Michael McDaniel that Sam Cassell, the Celtics assistant head coach this season, has emerged as a candidate for the Florida State head coaching job. Now, we see here that Boston Celtics assistant coach Sam Cassell has emerged as a candidate for this, according to Steve Bulpett of Heavy, with Leonard Hamilton retiring at the end of the season. Sam Cassell had played for the Seminoles from 91 to 93, and even though he's not yet been contacted by the program, he told Bulpett that doesn't mean he wouldn't listen if he received a call. He said, once the athletic department reaches out to me, then the interest is official. But they haven't reached out to me. The athletic director hasn't reached out to me. If it's God's will, it will happen. God has a plan for me. Listen, man, I have a great life. I'm an associate head coach of the Boston Celtics. I'm living good there. When I do get an opportunity on this level, I'll be ready. I can guarantee that I am ready. Simple. And Cassell said in order for him to become a head coach, to make any sort of change to his current situation with the Celtics, it would have to be the right job, where a head coaching job at the college level with his alma mater would certainly check that box, saying it's got to be the right job. The Ducks got to line me up in a right row correctly for me to think about leaving to accept another job, as Boston has treated me too good for me to just leave. Joe Mazzulla's been great to me. Brad Stevens been great to me. Doc Rivers wanted me to come to Milwaukee with him after he won the championship. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. As for Florida State, the 76-year-old Hamilton announced that earlier this month that he would step down at the end of the season after 2 decades leading the program, where the Seminoles have not been to the NCAA tournament since the 2021 season, which was the Scotty Barnes year. But Hamilton will leave Florida State as the winningest head coach in history. Now, for the Boston Celtics, like I mentioned, it is not guaranteed that Sam Cassell is going to leave, but with this article, we could see that he definitely would have interest in leaving to go to Florida State, as it would be a head coaching job in college, which could help him progress his career to be a head coach potentially in the NBA or at the college level throughout his entire career, as that's something that Sam Cassell would want to do. But like Sam Cassell said, it wouldn't be an easy decision. It would have to obviously be something that would be talked about, as Joe Mazzulla, Brad Stevens have been very, very great to him. But like I mentioned, Sam Cassell was brought into this Celtics team last season alongside Charles Lee, as they were both the assistants for this team. The Celtics lost Charles Lee going into this year, as he went to go be the head coach for the Charlotte Hornets. And even though the Hornets haven't been a great team this year, they do have a great culture. And that's what the Celtics do present with these coaches. That's why they always lose these types of guys. They lost Damon Stoudemire. He went off to college. Joe Mazzulla obviously got promoted. Ime Udoka, that whole situation, he's now coaching in Houston. He's doing a good job. Obviously, Jeff Van Gundy was on as like a coaching personnel, I believe, with the Celtics this year. I believe he's on the Clippers this season. So I know he got something else. So the Celtics have had guys that have been in this coaching staff that have left. And I wouldn't be shocked if a guy like Charles Lee like a guy in Sam Cassell, took that opportunity like Charles Lee did and went off to college to become a head coach if he was contacted. It is his alma mater. Obviously, he wants to progress in his career, but obviously that's not on his front right now. His front on his mind is the Celtics pursuing to win this championship, continuing to win. And I think that this type of conversation will be something that will be discussed towards the off season. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Definitely something that is piquing interest. I wouldn't blame Sam Cassell, obviously, if he did leave, but obviously it would be massive for the Boston Celtics as losing, once again, another assistant head coach. They would be able to promote somebody, have someone be good right alongside Joe Mazzulla. I do feel confident in that. But obviously, losing someone that was not only a Boston Celtic wearing the uniform and winning a championship in 2008 as a player, but winning one in 2024 as an assistant coach would definitely be something detrimental for the Celtics organization and for Joe Mazzulla's coaching staff. But let's get into the bright part of the video here. As, like I mentioned, this is nice to see. As we saw the Celtics veteran wing Torrey Craig get his debut yesterday for this Boston Celtics team as they took on the San Antonio Spurs. And in that live stream, I kind of went over how the Boston Celtics were going to have to use Torrey Craig tonight. And the whole live stream was, is he going to make his debut? I was kind of thinking he would. And once he was ruled clear to play and Jaylen Brown was ruled out, it was kind of incentivized that he was going to play, as Jrue and Jaylen were not in the starting lineup. Therefore, Sam, Hauser, and Al Horford had to step up to start, which meant that off the bench, the Celtics had Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett, and Namish Queta, and needed another wing-type scorer off the bench. They did use Torrey Craig. They did use Baylor Shireman. But in yesterday's performance for this Celtics team, Torrey Craig went out there and played a total of 9 minutes where he shot 100% from the field, 100% from three-point range as he only took 2 3-pointers, made both of his shots for the Celtics with 1 assist and 1 block. I love to see what Torrey Craig can do, and this is exactly what Torrey Craig is going to be for the Boston Celtics. He's not going to be a guy that's going to come out here and play 10 to 15 minutes a night for this squad. He's going to be a filler piece, a guy around the edges in case the Celtics have injuries like tonight and they need an extra scorer / wing off the bench. They can trust a guy like Torrey Craig and don't have to rely on some young guys like Baylor Shireman or Jordan Walsh. They have that NBA veteran ready to go. They also have him just in case guys like Sam Hauser or Peyton Pritchard go on a little bit of a cold streak, or maybe they need that extra defensive pressure at the wing. They can throw in a guy like Craig to get the job done. Joe Mazzulla had some quotes following the game as well, where he went on to say that Torrey Craig's debut was absolutely very important just because of his versatility. He's going to just continue to be in conversations, and he's just going to be a guy that's going to be a utility and yet have some great versatility on both sides of the floor. This is courtesy of Justin Turpin, which I'm very, very appreciative of that, and says he did see some of that tonight. And Torrey Craig also followed this up with a quote of his own from Jay King, saying that tonight was crazy. The atmosphere, the crowd, the fans, it's just a great joy to play in front of a crowd like that. And yeah, man, I'm just glad I made my debut in the Garden. I'm glad I hit my first shot. That's what I said earlier. He was happy he hit his first shot. The crowd went absolutely berserk once he stepped on the floor when he checked in. And once he hit that big time shot, I'm sure all the butterflies and all the nerves kind of really went through without him. And he also was getting hype on the bench as well for the team, which you love to see when they're playing against the San Antonio Spurs. He's really meshing on and off the court with this team, and I truly think he's going to be a great locker room veteran and true contending piece to help out for this Celtics team. And not only was he a trade target for many Celtics fans, including myself, but they got him on the buyout market for very cheap at only $700,000 on pay, while also trading away Jaden Springer to save $15 million in luxury tax. A win-win for the Boston Celtics here as they find a role player that they needed while also saving money in the luxury tax. A fantastic trade deadline from Brad Stevens once again as they look to push for a championship. But I want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So let me know what you guys ultimately think about Sam Cassell potentially, possibly going to Florida State as a head coach. And what do you think of Torrey Craig fitting in? Do you think he's going to be able to step up? Do you think he's going to be able to deliver like he is and can be consistent for the Celtics team? I truly think he's going to be a guy that his number will be called upon as a stay ready group member and will follow through for the Celtics when they need him most. Definitely expect a nice game from Torrey Craig in the playoffs. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel about this Celtics team, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, everyone.